It's November 1st, 2018. We're talking about some more developments, some major developments today over this huge 1MDB scandal. I've covered this in some previous videos. They're announcing some uh, more big charges, including the U.S. Has new charges against Joe Low. It's this fugitive Malaysian businessman. He's also has close links to several other politicians, business people in the US, and celebrities, people in the entertainment industry. He's described as Leo DiCaprio's number one bro, and he actually used money from this scandal to help fund, in part, Leo DiCaprio's film The Wolf of Wall Street. Leo DiCaprio was also forced to give back several gifts and back out of a Hillary Clinton fundraiser after being given gifts with stolen money from Jolo. Covered that in more detail previously, but they are announcing more charges against Jolo, who rumor is hiding out in China currently, as well as Goldman bankers. They're saying two ex-Goldman bankers, former bankers for Goldman Sachs, which raises more questions as to why other individuals have not faced charges. What about the Rothschild Bank? What about the Rothschilds, who in the exact same scandal, again, I've covered this previously, talking about their money laundering role in the 1MDB case. They broke several laws relating to money laundering. No word on anyone from the Rothschild Bank or the Rothschilds facing similar charges, though. This is what they're saying about the Goldman Sachs executives. So why are we not hearing similar charges about the Rothschilds compared to what they are saying today about this former Goldman Sachs Southeast Asia chairman, Tim Leissner, is one of the individuals facing these new charges today, saying the banker was nearing a dramatic fall from grace that resulted in him being terminated from the bank as it sought to distance itself from a series of shady bond underwritings organized by Leissner. Goldman, first reported in 2016, was deeply involved with the Malaysian government's efforts to seed the 1MDB development fund, which, as we now know, thanks to the DOJ, was used by former Malaysian President Najib Razak as his own personal slush fund, with most of the money going to purchase luxury yachts. Jolo just had to return I believe, over $230 million luxury yacht that he purchased with stolen money from 1MDB. That had to be returned after it was being held by the Indonesian government, and Indonesia had to give that back to Malaysia. Or just in the past few weeks, they finally agreed to give that yacht back that they were holding to Malaysia. Coincidentally, some people may have seen a video this week I did on there was a plane accident, a lost flight they had assumed had crashed with 189 people on board, but 20 individuals from Indonesia's finance ministry, 20 Indonesian finance ministry officials reportedly died aboard this plane crash. They're still trying to get details. That just happened a few days ago, and that is just a few weeks after they returned this luxury yacht related to 1MDB to Malaysia, Indonesia. That is. So stolen money used to purchase these sorts of items. Some of the money, again, they note back to, the connection back to Hollywood, saying that some of the money was even used to help finance the Hollywood blockbuster, The Wolf of Wall Street. In total, Razak and his cronies are believed to have stolen nearly $700 million, which is just a fraction of the total money that was stolen from taxpayers in this case. But they're saying $700 million went directly to Razak and his cronies as well. Back in July, they're saying it was believed that Leissner, facing these new charges they're just announcing today, Leissner was planning to cooperate with federal authorities. They had reported, raising the possibility that he could help expose some of the endemically corrupt practices happening behind the scenes at the Vampire Squid. Since Wall Street Journal exposed the fraud, it had been talking about this back in 2015. Wall Street Journal was talking about this after 1MDB missed bond payments. Scandals riveted the financial press and drawn intense scrutiny from the DOJ. Now it appears that Leisner, who's married to Kimora Lee Simmons, has done just that. As the Wall Street Journal reported Thursday morning, the former banker is expected to plead guilty to conspiracy to launder money and violate the FCPA. As part of the settlement, he has agreed to a $44 million fine for his role in the scandal, a guilty plea that we imagine will lead to his eventual cooperation. So they seem to be implying that it could lead to more charges, and there are so many individuals wrapped up in this scandal as well. People likely want to see some of the, I guess you could call them big fish, to face punishment in this scandal. Leisner's kind of medium fish, I guess. I mean, he obviously is a very influential banker to have played this role in 1MDB. But could he be making a deal as part of this plea, this guilty plea that he's been making, to take down people even higher up in the ladder? Have the connections back to Hollywood. Former Prime Minister of Malaysia is facing potentially decades in prison. And again, what about the Rothschild Bank? What about the Obama White House? I've looked at this article before, but we can again just briefly zero in on potential connection back to Clinton. In this article, they talk about the role of one businessman that was used as an intermediary. I talked about this previously, to potentially move money from this slush fund. Wall Street Journal article, they talk about one individual, I believe Frank White, he is named in this article. Wall Street Journal's blocking access here. Frank White Jr. Maybe we can see if we can just find the excerpt from the article. I had that article pulled up and ready to go right before I went live. I seem to be having some kind of DNS attacks or something on my computer. I didn't want to really bring it up or encourage if anything shady is going on. But it seems like every time that I go live, I get disconnected from the sources and websites that I've been pulled up, that I have been trying to pull up, try to have them ready to go. There are various connections between Frank White Jr. as one business person. He did raise money for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. It was reportedly him that helped move money between 1MDB and the Obama White House at the time. Trying to pull up some more details on that. I do have the article that I tried to pull up linked in the description if you want to take a look there. So let me know what you think about these charges that they're announcing today. Just to close off on today's article, they're saying, oh, and we can look at the charges that they're also announcing against Jolo as well. Second piece here, they say, closing off on this one, they say Leisner's situation is hardly ideal. His former deputy has it even worse. Roger Ng, former deputy director of Goldman Southeast Asia practice, is expected to be indicted by the DOJ alongside Jolo, the Malaysian financier whose exploits have been widely chronicled in the Western media. Lo allegedly masterminded the 1MDB fraud, saying last week Razak and his former Treasury Secretary, they're again adding these additional recent charges against the former Malaysian Prime Minister, been charged with criminal breach of trust. That was months after Razak had already been in prison shortly after losing his re-election race to a rival who had promised to prosecute him. As the DOJ prepares its announcement, attention will now turn to what exactly Leisner told investigators and whether his former employer could be held liable. And another article from today, they're talking about the charges. This has been updated more recently than that piece from this morning. We have additional charges now against Jolo. He's a third person charged here. Financier popularly known as Jolo remains at large. Rumor is again that he's hiding out in China currently. saying the Goldman did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The investment bank, which generated about $600 million US in fees for its work with 1MDB, has in the past repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and said it's fully cooperating with authorities. In total, estimated $4.5 billion US were misappropriated from 1MDB by high-level officials of the fund and their associates, U.S. Justice Department has alleged. They are saying that while U.S. prosecutors have previously filed civil asset forfeiture suits for assets allegedly bought with some of the stolen funds, these are the first criminal charges the Justice Department has brought against individuals in the case. So is it possible this is part of a deal? This plea deal could lead to additional charges. Jolo is one of the main individuals that we see continually brought up in the media coverage that there is on this case. You would imagine that this a pretty important case would be getting more coverage, but again, they're not really touching at all any further on the Rothschilds' involvement in particular. It seems that the media, in the coverage that they are doing on this case, again, not as much as there should be, are still trying to downplay or cover for certain individuals' roles in this scandal as well. Since we learned the Rothschild bank's involvement, their money laundering in this case, that was midway through the summer, midway into July. We haven't really heard any major updates on that or any follow-up into that investigation other than we know that they broke those laws. Will they face any punishment? Is the plea deal part of that? Let me know what you think. Follow up as more info comes out. A reminder, I am over on patreon.com/realityreader. Thank you everybody that has donated over there. And $1 or $2 makes a huge difference. Helps me keep talking about these issues, keep growing the channel. Also have a PayPal link, paypal.me/realityreader. Also have that in the video description and article links to the articles that we looked at as well. You can take a look. I'll follow up soon. Leave a comment. Thank you.